Hey, good Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. Oh, I've been trying to take us back a day all day long. Happy Wednesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Thanks for joining us for our noon forecast today, Hail Stalkers. Now, today we have storms. Did you see the warning, the tornado warning from those Tennessee storms early this morning, right around 7:30 this morning? Well, those are slowly on the weakening trend through the lunchtime hours, but I'll show you exactly what we're expecting for the rest of the day. We're still watching for some heavy rainfall as we head into the evening hours. And colder temperatures farther up to the north. We've got cold air coming down from Canada. And this is one of my favorite things to say every year. We've got the Alberta Clipper, Saskatchewan Screamer, whatever you call it, a dip in the jet stream, and it's on its way with cold and wintry weather. So that is what we're watching for today. Let's take a look at yesterday first, because we had those storms pop up starting in Oklahoma, but then stretching all the way to Tennessee, southeastern Oklahoma. I think actually near McAllister is where we got a high wind alert yesterday. We had a few severe thunderstorm warnings. This entered into more of a central to eastern portion of Oklahoma. We really expected this to kind of clip the far southeastern side of Oklahoma, down near Hobart, down near some of these, we've got some like Airbnb, Sulphur and stuff out there. But we started up a little bit farther to the west, right? But then we continued, just like we expected, through the overnight hours up to Tennessee. And that's exactly what we saw as we hit the morning hours. Early this morning, we had another severe thunderstorm warning here highlighted in this yellow box. You can barely see that there. And we told you this was going to be an overnight system. That's exactly what we saw, but it continued as we head into the early morning hours down into central Tennessee. That is where we saw our tornado warning. There you go. Now, right there, highlighted in red. That is what we saw at 7:30 this morning, a tornado warning, waking a lot of people up to those sirens, that WEA on your phone. This continued to track to the east through the mid-morning hours, started to weaken a little bit. I don't think we've had a severe thunderstorm warning since then. And now, as this is just kind of sitting through the middle of Tennessee right now, stretching up to Ohio and even down to portions of Arkansas and Mississippi, the biggest risk right now is going to be that heavy rainfall. So we've already seen some rain, about 2 to 3 inches in some places. Localized flooding is possible, but it's not going to be widespread. It's going to be those areas in your neighborhood that always tend to pond with water. That's what you're going to watch for this morning. You know, maybe if you are an area highlighted in green here, your dogs are going to have some wet paws as they come in from going outside this afternoon. But other than that, we're not watching for too many of those other really big severe risks. Out to the west, we still have ongoing moisture out here, not a widespread thing, but we are going to see some more showers and snow showers over the next 24 hours. Speaking of snow, we are in for a good amount of snow from North and South Dakota all the way through the Midwest, and then even portions of our New England states are seeing some snow over the next few days. Still, the upper elevations of the Northwest saw some snow over the last 24 hours here. We're talking double-digit snow in some places just outside of Seattle, into the mountains. Great skiing snow. I know a lot of people are trying to get out to the mountains over the next month or two. We got to have that snow now so that you can get out there and enjoy those slopes in a few months. Or maybe you're even going this month. I know that's a really big thing for New Year's Eve. But moving on here, we're talking about this front that yesterday cooled temperatures down across Oklahoma. It got windy, it got very cold through the overnight hours tonight, anywhere from Texas all the way through most of Oklahoma into Missouri and then up to the Midwest. You can even start to see some of those really cold temperatures coming down into North Dakota and into South Dakota as well, and into Minnesota as well. And I think, oh no, did it not? Let's see if we can see that cold air moving. Ah, there we go. Okay, so with this cold front that is moving through those storms through Tennessee right now, it's also ushering some colder air our way. So what we're expecting by Thursday is a cool down anywhere from the eastern side of Texas all the way up to our New England states here. Temperatures will be drastically taking a nosedive, very similar to what we're seeing in Oklahoma today. I walked in just shivering, and I've had my heater on all morning because it's a drastic drop in temperatures compared to what we saw yesterday. We're down about 20 degrees today, plus a strong north wind. So those of you from the southeast all the way through Tennessee into the Midwest and then into our New England states, just be ready for that big cool down. We've already felt it here in Oklahoma. You guys are going to feel it tomorrow, Thursday, as well. There's that front that we've been talking about. There's all of those showers and storms that stretch up into snow into the New England states. Farther back to the west, we're a little bit more dry. There's a lot of activity in terms of wintry weather through Pennsylvania and New York, and that'll continue over the next few days. We've got another system, a second system coming in for our New England states. Few showers off the coast of Florida here. Dry now over Oklahoma, Texas, and the rest of the plains. And then the farther west you go, we're getting into those really windy conditions in Montana. Yesterday, they warned a high wind warning. They were watching for gusts up to 100 miles an hour. At first, I thought it could be a typo that they put 85 miles an hour. The National Weather Service said, nope, we could see up to 100 mile per hour wind gusts in Montana. Now today, we're not expecting that strong of wind. We're expecting about 60 to 65 miles per hour for wind gusts. Still really, really strong. Of course, if you're in this area, you probably want to be extremely cautious about getting on roofs today because of all that high wind and extremely cold temperatures. Now, temperatures right now are in the 20s up in Minneapolis. We've got the 40s here in Oklahoma City, 40s to 60s out to the east. Who's the warmest today? Florida. Florida wins 82 down in Miami today. At first, I thought it could be 77 in Houston, 77 also in Los Angeles. But we were talking about that high wind. We still have some wind alerts in effect here. We have a winter storm warning highlighted here in pink for Montana and North Dakota. Winter weather advisory that goes until Thursday for North Dakota as well. We are also watching for a high wind watch, a high wind warning as well. So we've got a little bit of everything, including those high winds with the blowing snow is going to reduce your visibility across the northern states. So make sure if you are out driving that you have a good distance between you and the car in front of you and that you know where you're going. Don't drive into anything you can't see through. All right, let's take you out farther to the east now. I was talking about all of that snow that we're going to continue to see not only today, but also tomorrow across our New England states here. It'll be a mix of rain switching into snow the farther north that you go. And then as we head to the coast, you're going to see a lot of rain here by this evening into the overnight hours. Now I think we're moving, your severe risks today, not looking very promising. No significant hail expected today. So we've already seen that severe risk down in places like Tennessee. We're seeing those storms weaken. You could get some very minor wind gusts out of those storms for the next hour or two. Other than that, your severe risks are looking very minimal. No significant hail expected today and tomorrow and the next day. So especially with this colder air coming in, your severe chances go way down. Taking you farther out to the west, you can see those showers and storms staying on the west coast near Seattle and Portland. But if you take a look behind my head back here, do you see North Dakota getting those storms? Snowstorms coming through Minnesota as well as Wisconsin, moving up to Michigan, and then I'll switch the camera view in just a minute, and you'll see those New England states getting a second round of snow in the next 48 to 72 hours here. But hey, let's talk about this cold air coming down from Canada. Excuse me. Coming down from Canada. Now we have several different names for this. We call this Alberta Clipper, Saskatchewan Screamer. You may hear it as a dip in the jet stream. I've heard some people, this isn't as common of a term, refer to it as the Polar Express. Okay, there's a lot of different names that we could use for this. Now, what is this exactly? We say Alberta Clipper or Saskatchewan Screamer because those are the areas, the provinces of Canada, where this cold air is coming from. You can see that cold air just sitting right above Montana, and then it'll move into North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota here. And why do we call it a clipper? Well, clippers were really big sailboats way back when, and it moves really fast. They were fast movers. And since this system is moving really fast, you'll see it sweep across the northern side of the U.S. That's why we call it a clipper, okay? It's also fun and very useless fact here why the Los Angeles Clippers are named the Clippers as well, because of those same type of boats. Alrighty, moving on. Here's your cold air that's moving into North and South Dakota, into Minnesota very, very quickly, bringing all of that cold air, and then you'll see that move to the east, slowly tracking into our New England states, bringing some colder air and another chance for snow by the end of this work week and into the weekend. Now, some of this cold air will get pushed down to the south, okay? So we may stay below or right about average into our south and eastern side of the U.S., but overall, we're going to stay above average for a good portion of the U.S. as we head into Christmas, as we head into your Christmas week. It's going to stay above average for your temperatures. Let's pause on the temperatures for a minute. Let's go back to the snow. Here you go. Thursday, you're going to see all that snow track to the east from our Dakotas to Minnesota and into Wisconsin and Michigan, slowly tracking into our New England states shortly after that. Take a look at all that snowfall that they're going to get coming down from Canada. They're going to get a pretty good amount of snow, but it's not necessarily how much snow you get. It's that snow blowing across the road because of all of those high winds. That is going to cause low visibility and some tricky travel conditions up to the north. Okay, let's talk temperatures now. I've talked about it's going to get cold. How cold is it going to get? Okay, 28 by tomorrow morning in Bismarck. You can do that. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're down to single digits into the afternoon. So it's kind of like a backwards forecast here where it's warmer in the morning and colder in the afternoon for the Dakotas. Meanwhile, heading farther down to the south now, by tomorrow afternoon, 50s and 60s return to Oklahoma and Texas. That'll be a nice warm up compared to what we have today. We also have the 40s and 50s moving across the east behind that cold front that we're seeing today, bring all that rain into Tennessee. Moving on to Friday now, we are below zero, sub-zero temperatures by Friday morning through the Dakotas, starting to get colder in Minneapolis as well. Those colder temperatures starting to move to the east. Now Minnesota sitting right at or below zero. Chicago waking up Saturday morning. It's a cold Saturday if you have to do any Christmas shopping because we are very close to the single digits in Chicago. We are going to continue to see this cold air slowly track across the east, and that'll be the big story across the U.S. The rest of the U.S. looking pretty quiet and chilly, as you would expect in December. But remember those warmer temperatures I was talking about as we head into Christmas? Here you are, Christmas week. I think the 23rd is Monday, right? So I guess, would that make the 27th Friday? Don't quote me on that. Look at your calendar if you want to know the days. But we're talking about the 23rd to the 27th. We have a really good chance to be above average through most of the U.S. What are we talking about here? Low chance for snow, really good chance for warmer temperatures, mostly, especially through the central of the U.S. We're talking about the 50s and the low 60s. Not too bad for December. Maybe get out, play with those new Christmas toys for the kids. What about the rain outlook during this time? We're most likely going to see some sort of rain system. We've got a really, really good chance to stay pretty wet on the west coast for next week. We've got a good chance to have at least a little bit of rainfall through Oklahoma, Texas, southern Kansas, Missouri, and the western side of Arkansas. Pretty dry up to our New England states as well, which I guess would be better for travel because you don't want any tricky travel, get stuck at the airports over Christmas. All right, thanks for joining us today. We had a packed forecast with those storms out of Tennessee, a cold front cooling temperatures down out to the east, and then of course that Canadian air coming down to the U.S. and to our northern states and causing a very cold and winter conditions over the next few days into the end of the work week and early this weekend. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We will be posting any weather updates that we have for you, any hail photos that we have for you on these areas. We actually just had a big app update today, so follow our social media for that information and check your email if you're a subscriber to Hail Trace. But if you want to get subscribed, if you're interested in a wind, hail, or tornado map, you can head over to 334-4245. Give us a call there or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can even go to our website, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll be back same time, same place for your forecast tomorrow.